The infield looks great. A lot of fans on hand for this great weekend of racing at Michigan. Trucks and Cup here this weekend. A couple of practices yesterday for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Ross Chastain, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes topped the list. Christian Eckes was fastest in that final practice. Remember, the rookies got an extra set of tires and put those in and went to the top of the chart. But Eckes has been impressive through the first two practices as well. Maybe another first-time winner in the Truck Series later today.
It would not surprise me. A lot of talk in the garage area was that 51 truck was one of our contenders for sure.
And flip that around, the 15 of Anthony Alfredo. He certainly has shown a lot of speed this year lately, and he could be another guy you could see in victory lane.
And I know, Mike, you've liked Tyler Dipple of late.
Yeah, his speed's there. It's good to see these young guys getting their arms around what it takes to be fast on these big super speedways like Michigan.
Jordan Anderson, you see him 7th fastest in combined speeds. He had a lot of speed in both practice sessions. That truck's getting faster and faster as the year goes on.
Downstairs, pit road, and Alan Cavana.
And I'm with one of those drivers who needs the win. A must-win situation for Ben Rhodes. We saw you had speed in practice. What do you have for raw speed in qualifying?
I think so. My crew, I feel like, did a really good job bringing me probably the best Evelyn Ford that we could get as far as raw speed goes. I was actually really amazed yesterday in practice how far back I could get a draft off of someone and then run them down. So I'm really happy with it. Handled good, drove good. Seemed like it had really good drafting abilities. So we'll see how it is single truck, but I know we definitely have something for him in the race.
Hermie?
Anthony Alfredo, a little bit further along here in the qualifying lineup. Nothing much more fun in NASCAR than qualifying at this racetrack. If your truck is comfortable, do you have a good one today?
I believe so. My DGR Crosley guys have done a phenomenal job, brought another awesome piece for me. I always tell you it's tough racing part-time when I just try to do my best when I'm on the couch watching the races to learn from these other guys, and it seems like when we come to the track it pays off. For being here on a part-time schedule, we have plenty of speed. We'll try to show that today. Got a new sponsor on the hood, Precision Vehicle Logistics, so happy to have them on board. A bunch of people coming out to the track, and my buddy Zach, who designed my helmet from the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, it's his birthday tomorrow, so we're going to try to snag a win for him.
Vince?
I like when Anthony says watching from the couch. Do you always win when you're on the couch? I mean,
I used to hit a home run in the World Series from my couch, too.
The first truck out belongs to Jennifer Jo Cobb, the 10 truck, the driventohonor.org Chevrolet.
I think that line you saw there for Jennifer Jo when she went into the corner low, that's what we're going to see all throughout this session. There's been a lot of talk about that traction compound that the track has applied to the surface up high. I think it'll be fun to see what happens when we go racing this afternoon. Qualifying, you want to make the shortest path around this racetrack you possibly can. You can see it's a couple of 3 lanes up before you see the darker traction compound there. So will we get there in the race today, Mike? I think we will. I think these trucks will start to slip and slide a little bit. It's going to be sunny and obviously warming up throughout the day, and that means you're going to have to look for grip.
We're going to see a lot of trucks get past today, too, this afternoon, and you're going to have to go somewhere to do it. Now, there's quite a bit of room below the traction compound, as you can see right there, but this racetrack almost has a bit of a feel of progressive banking. The bottom it always felt like it was a little bit flatter than the middle of the racetrack, but I think these trucks, I think they're able to run around the bottom of the racetrack, no problem at all.
Here's TJ Bell in the 38. Ooh, big wiggle.
Told you they were sticking really well. Wow. What happened there, TJ? That thing almost got away from him.
He needed that traction compound on exit here to hold that rear of that truck.
Check in again with Allen. Seem to be having a problem with Allen, but give you an opportunity to brush up on your lip reading. TJ Bell finishing up his qualifying run. Austin Wayne Self, by the way, was scheduled to be the first one out, was not ready to roll. He's been put on the 5-minute clock. We have 33 on hand, and the field is 32. There's Austin Wayne. Finally made it, so he's off the clock and obviously ready to lay down his lap.
You know, a lot of the speeds and times that we saw from combined speeds from yesterday were drafting, so I think it's going to be a bit of a a surprise maybe what these trucks are going to be able to run by themselves, but it's so cool this morning. This racetrack right now is just primed for some speed. Saw some really fast speeds in that Monster Energy Cup Series practice just a few moments ago.
When I see a truck that looks like the 22 there of Self, and it's got that nose right down on the road and the side skirts, it just makes me want to get in a truck and go. That's so aerodynamic. It looks such a great attitude on that race truck. This could be a really good lap for Self.
Really 3 good runs in a row for him. He had 6th at Kentucky, a terrific race for him, and then a couple of top 15s to follow it up. So 3 straight inside the top 15 for Austin Wayne Self. Down to Hermie.
Well, Vince, yesterday in practice, this team, Jordan Anderson, you guys are really elevating your program and showing up at places like this. How much fun are you having driving around this place in a pretty fast truck today?
Man, these last few weeks have been really amazing for our whole team. And we were at Pocono. I think we were 4th in final practice, 5th in first practice yesterday. It just goes to show how hard this whole entire team is working. I look at where we were last season and how much we've grown. And we got Wally Rogers calling the shots. He came on board a few weeks ago. And our whole entire team, it's the same guys from last year. So it's cool for us to just kind of be able to see all the hard work pay off, that all the fans have seen us. And new sponsors this weekend, Mission Distance Systems, bomberito.com back on there. But I'm having fun. I know you're a racer, Hermie, so it's always nice when you can put in the hard work, put in the effort in the shop, show up here, and unload your hauler or your truck off the hauler, and you're faster off the bat. So it's a good feeling, and I'm so happy for our whole team, everybody that supports us, because this is still a grassroots team. We're trying to grow, and we try to get better every time we come to the racetrack. So it's really awesome to see the hard work pay off.
Well, this is good news for Jordan Anderson, although I'm sad to report that as they've elevated their sponsorships, Hermie's Sandwiches does no longer make the cut, Alan.
And back here with Tyler Dipple and a microphone that is working. Good to have you on here. You are one of the drivers that can win his way in. You've been improving lately. What do you think of that situation, that pressure of a must-win?
You know, I don't think it really changed your approach. You know, you show up and want to win every week, but definitely probably going to be a lot more aggressive as for other people in my same situation. But, you know, I feel like the team brought a really good truck. I feel like probably one of the best that we've had all year, and it showed really good speed yesterday. I felt like it drafted really, really good. You know, never really got tight in traffic, which I was really happy about. I don't know where we're going to end up single truck speed. I feel like it's a little bit better in the draft, but I feel like we definitely got a good piece.
You can hear some confidence from Dipple, guys.
And Tyler Dipple coming off that 8th place finish at Eldora, matched his career best. Corey Roper, good to see Corey back after taking a break to get things prepared for this particular event here at Michigan. I haven't seen Corey since Texas, where he ran inside the top 10. And here's Cody Robaugh on the 9.
Yeah, he's here on his honeymoon.
Yeah.
just
his wife, Brooklyn, you got to give her a pat on the back for agreeing to come to
Brooklyn, Michigan.
Michigan.
I mean, how appropriate is that?
I think he sold it, too. I think he sold it exactly that way. Honey, guess where we're going for our honeymoon?
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
New York, no. Brooklyn, Michigan.
I've always liked the look of this truck. It's a nice, that bright green, and really pops off that black scheme. Robaugh up to 2nd of the 6 that have taken a qualifying time so far.
Yeah, Sal hit his best finish back at this year, which just came about 2 races ago at Kentucky.
Yeah, he was 14th at Kentucky, and this team has potential. You know, when you see these guys be able to qualify, you're talking about drafting speeds, Phil, being around 185, Roper at 182, Robaugh at 181. It's going to be interesting to see if these guys by themselves. Whoa!
Daniel Sasnet. And we had 33 trucks for 32 spots, and that might have just taken care of that problem.
Yeah, wow. That was a hard hit.
You know, you sometimes lose sight of how fast these trucks are actually going when they get down into the corner, and Daniel was committed to run that truck wide open, and almost before he even got loaded up good, really slipped out from under him, and that was a vicious hit.
Last year's qualifying speed here better than 184 miles per hour. So you get around this place in a hurry. Watch Sasnet here.
Get down on the flattest part of the racetrack down there on the bottom groove there, and that rear of that truck slipped out from under him.
Yeah, you know, we saw right off the bat with TJ Bell having issues handling his truck, and then Sasnet goes around here with that huge hit.
And the conditions are as good as they can be. You're going to have as much grip as we're ever going to have with the temperature you had talked about, Vince.
And we talked about compromise earlier, wanting a truck that just has sheer speed and then one that's going to handle well later. I'm a little bit surprised that some of the drivers are slipping and sliding like they are, but might have to get Hermie or Allen to ask around and see what's going on down there.
And this might have been a situation for Daniel that felt like, hey, we have to get in on time. We have to make that top 27 on speed. So they may have had to err on the side of a little more speed, a little less downforce. Good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Take this opportunity to check back in with Allen.
And down here with Todd Gilliland, both Todd and his crew chief, Wes Ward, yesterday you admitted he didn't really have a great practice. What were you lacking, and what can you fix to find it?
We were lacking handling and speed. So on our mock run, we were wide open, and we just didn't really have much speed at all. So we'll see. We made a lot of small adjustments overnight, some things that helped my exit and my entry. So we'll see. Hopefully we made enough changes, and at least we're just going to fight one thing in the race, I hope. So that's the goal for now, and from then you can kind of tune on it and make it better with track bar, the tuning tools that you can use in the race. So for us at this point, it's just about getting to where we can get a little bit closer during the race, and hopefully put this JBL Toyota Tundra up front here in qualifying, and then work our way to the front in the race.
We can't say it enough, guys. Todd Gilliland, another one of those drivers who needs a win to make the playoff.
Daniel Sassanet around and hard into the wall at Michigan, qualifying for the Gander Truck Series. Picture perfect day. You would not imagine the chaos that is about to come. Moffitt is going to make a pass for the lead. Sauter going with him, and now Sauter on the bottom. From third to first, Sauter in front.
Brett might be laying back a little bit to get a little bit of momentum.
Moffitt gets a little bit of a push, and he gets underneath Johnny Sauter.
They're side by side.
The lead and the win. Sauter and Moffitt side by side at the line. It's Brett Moffitt.
Yeah, baby, that's the timing right there. Hell yeah, good job, guys.
Don't know who's going to win, but we expect more of the same in regards to the close competition later this afternoon when we run the regular season finale. But not off to a good start for Daniel Sassanet and Jennifer Jo Cobb's team, as that 0 is destroyed during qualifying. Well, Ross Chastain will be running for a championship. He'll be in the playoffs, and he's with Hermie.
And right now we're watching the TV. You're getting ready to go out and make your wide open lap around this racetrack, and then you see another competitor have issues like that. So how difficult is it to adjust and all those things before you go on the racetrack and get it done?
That's not what we want to see, Hermie. You know that. But fortunately, race car drivers like you and I have very short memories, and we forget. So as soon as I get in the race,
I got a real long memory.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, and I eat a lot, apparently.
Well, as a respected colleague and sir that I look up to, I will believe you.
How's your truck?
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, the Yost Barnes Nice Motorsports Chevy is really good. Al Nice gave us another bullet. I was talking with Michael last night. I really have a lot of confidence in this team. Obviously, we've had a really good summer, a really good year all around. So just living the watermelon life and smiling through it all, and whatever comes today, we'll be happy with.
Alan?
And I'm here with Brett Moffitt. I just told him we showed the replay of last year's race. He got a big smile on his face, the last lap pass. What is it like here at Michigan, the racing and what we saw yesterday in practice, just kind of the packs that we see?
It's crazy, honestly. You know, it's almost like a speedway, but a lot harder to drive. So you really got to have a good driving Chevy Silverado to be good and competitive. And last couple times I've been here, we've been able to go to victory lane. So hopefully that knowledge will transfer over to the day. But it's a lot of survival. It's tough in the aero conditions. I think we're going to see it in the Cup race now with their package too, that you just got to be smart with your moves.
All right, we saw it last year, guys. He went to victory lane.
Well, he's won the last 2 times he's been here, but in those 2 wins, he's led a total of 6 laps.
He doesn't waste his time leading a lot of laps.
He's a fun guy to watch here at Michigan for sure. He's got this place down. The one pass he made the first time he won here, he went up into the area where no truck had gone by all day long, 3 wide right out next to the fence, and there was no traction compound down. He just made it work.
Anthony Alfredo next out. How is it to be the next guy out after, as Ross Chastain was addressing that, watching the accident of Sassnet?
Well, he's been on his couch a lot, too, so that makes it extra difficult. But you saw there as he left pit road right out next to the outside wall, he's trying to get that engine, that truck wound up as tight as he can get it, as much speed as he can get, running a little bit high, coming to the green in order to be able to have momentum, make that distance longer. So he's going as fast as he possibly can when he takes the green.
Remember the last time he was on the racetrack was at Pocono when Stuart Friesen spun in turn 1. He caught Anthony Alfredo up against the wall, and that ended his afternoon. So certainly wants to put that behind him and have a good run here, because he's had some good runs this year.
Well, in fact, he'd had a couple of top 10s.
Yeah.
I think 4 straight inside the top 15 to that point. So, yeah, you're right, Phil. He was really looking forward to Pocono and as you said, caught up in the misfortune of Stuart Friesen, lap 1, turn 1.
Nice handling truck, it looks like. Able to get it right down on that white line. I like the looks of that. He's losing a little bit of ground, though. I think maybe rolled off the gas, possibly a little bit into there.
Maybe, but when we're looking at that, it looks like a lot, but it's 0.05 of a second. You can't even think that fast.
Just behind Corey Roper is Anthony Alfredo, slotting into the 2nd position. Driving for Gilliland Crosley this weekend. We mentioned Matt Crafton, a 3-time pole winner here at Michigan. He's with Hermie.
A lot of eyes will be on the 88 today. Matt, you got a spot a lot of people won't, but also a win would take care of a lot of problems. So how do you approach this day?
I just go race as hard as you can and just race it like it's the first race of the year, or race it like it's the last race of the year. Just going out there to get the checkered flag and see what happens at the end of the day.
You got 3 poles here, so what's the key to a fast qualifying lap?
Yeah, good question. Last year we didn't qualify very well, and the year before that we had sat on the pole. So we actually just worked on, we had a lot of speed in it early, and then we started working on trying to make it where it would drive better. So I think then we went and changed a whole bunch of stuff last night right before we went to tech. So we have not a clue what it's going to do right now.
Just go hold it down and see what happens, Vince.
Well, Tyler Ankrum did just that, and he goes to the top with a 39.25.
Yeah, right now 3/10 clear of the 2nd place truck of Corey Roper.
Here's the 49 of Ray Cicerelli.
Solid finish. Last time out, he did not run the dirt race at Eldora, but he ran Pocono, but had a top 20 finish.
I was going to say Norm Benning on the 5-minute clock. He was scheduled to roll out ahead of Alfredo and didn't present, so keep an eye on what's happening with Norm while we watch Cicerelli. A couple of races inside the top 20 in regards to finishes in his 5 starts this season.
Yeah, there's some trucks like Matt Crafton. He expects to win this race. That's the way that team is prepared. They go out to win. Some teams like Cicerelli here, he just is trying to get the best finish he can get. And if you can claw and get up inside that top 20, you can call that a successful day.
Next up, Jesse Iwuji. Good to see Jesse back in the Truck Series. Get to see him a handful of times each season.
As you can see, he had a top 20 at Texas. He's a K&N West Series competitor on occasion as well. And
member of the U.S. Navy.
Absolutely. Played for the Naval Academy. Played football for the Naval Academy.
Another in a must-win situation, Sheldon Creed with Allen.
And the California native, I always comment on his laid-back attitude. This is a pressure-packed, must-win situation. Nothing ever seems to bother you, get under your skin. Why is that?
I don't know. I just roll with it, but pressure's on today. Worked on the truck really hard yesterday. Started off super loose in practice, and guys just did a good job on getting it where I wanted. And I don't know if we're going to qualify real good here. We're not trimmed out as much as some of them, but I think it'll race good.
Looking for that win to get in the playoffs, guys. Hermie.
Well, Alan, another driver with a must-win situation. Harrison Burton, new colors, and much like Sheldon Creed, you don't look like the pressure is getting to you, but what's going on inside the gut here?
It's a little bit of a butterfly kind of feeling, but man, I'm ready to go. This is the moment that race car drivers live for, right? It's my team versus the world right now, and we're gonna go put it on the line. I got a sweet new paint job. The field sports course for our Toyota Tundra is gonna be really, really good, and we just gotta go out and qualify again instead of 10 for the weekend.
Vince?
Thanks, Hermie. As you watch Trey Hutchins, I love the comment from Burton. Admits to the butterflies, but says, hey, win at all costs, win to get in. That's the kind of thing you look, that's the challenge that winners want.
And embrace it, and he's doing that.
And you know what, I also love what Creed said. We might not be trimmed out as much as some of the others. That's what we talked about in the opening. These setups on the trucks could differ from truck to truck depending on how they felt in practice yesterday, how they handled on the older tires.
Trey Hutchins slots into the 6th position as we watch Ben Rhodes in the 99, another who must win to get in. Norm Benning, less than a minute left on the clock for Norm. Rhodes is one of those that's trending the wrong direction. If he were a stock, you would be disappointed if he was in your portfolio, because the last 4 races, his average finish is 19th. But at the same time, he is a driver that you believe is capable of winning every time he rolls out.
I wouldn't sell him yet if he was a stock. I'd hang on today for sure, and thinking that he can and may have a good chance at winning this race today.
2nd quickest for Rhodes. Last Thursday, watch that 99 there. It was an eventful night for Ben there. He's having contact with Tyler Dipple, and then a little payback, and then Dipple came back with an answer. The two of them not happy with one another, and it spilled over to once they got out of the trucks.
I think it was a weekend for that, wasn't it? For people getting mad at each other. We saw a little bit of that at Watkins Glen as well.
Seems to happen this time of year.
It does. I mean, we talk about pressure. Talk to Harrison Burton about pressure. There's pressure on all these people. People trying to impress somebody, trying to keep their ride, trying to better themselves, make the playoffs. There's just so many things to race for here.
The 6 of Norm Benning will not get a qualifying attempt. The 5-minute clock has expired on his attempt, and Jordan Anderson, who was in the ownership role at Eldora last week, put the ownership hat on, and he's back behind the wheel. Nice solid run for Jordan Anderson, 3rd quickest so far. Back to Allen.
Down here with Grant Infinger. Nice new paint scheme this weekend. Potential regular season champion. I know all that's good, but how important is it for you to go into this playoff with a victory on top of the door?
We definitely want some extra momentum going into the playoffs. You know, but we got our work cut out for us. Our Thor Sport Racing F-150 was struggling a little bit yesterday. This is an important race for us for a lot of reasons. A home track for Thor Sport Racing, home track for Ford, also LTI Printing, a new partner we have on board this weekend. So we threw a lot of stuff at it. Jeff Hensley threw a lot at it today, and I got confidence we'll be better today.
All right, Grant Infinger going for that regular season championship.
Well, and it says champion right there on his driver's suit. I mean, is he bragging a little bit about, you know, hey, look, guys, I'm the champion. I'm the regular season champ. That's when you got a sponsor champion. It gives you a chance to tout your...
Well, then plus the year they've had. It's just been incredible, the consistency and the speed that they've shown all year long.
Yeah, they were rocking along with the 11th as their worst finish until they ran into a couple finishes at Chicago and Kentucky outside the top 15.
Saw Tyler Dipple finish up his qualifying lap, 5th quickest so far. He's on a nice little roll, 5 straight top 15 finishes. Qualifying continues when we come back. Austin Hill. $14 have taken time so far. Just about halfway through the qualifying run here at the Gander Outdoors Truck Series regular season finale. Michigan International Speedway. Race later this afternoon, and a handful of drivers are in a win to get in position. Basically, one spot is available if somebody outside the cut line would happen to win later today. This young man took care of his business right out of the gate. Won the season opener, Austin Hill. What a great feeling that was for him, and probably he's looked back on that and said, whew, glad I don't have to worry about being in this situation.
Seems like that was months ago, doesn't it?
It was.
And it was months ago.
You know, when you win Daytona, that's, to me, the greatest track that we go to ever. So when you win there, you're caught up in the moment of winning at Daytona. And then someone says,
oh, by the way,
we're in the playoffs. And so it just keeps getting better.
Well, they need to get better. They need to finish the race. That's the problem for Austin Hill and company this last month or so. 3 straight finishes outside 30th. So they're a much better team than that, but obviously they've had problems, and those are problems you got to get corrected as you look to the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is a team that won this race here with Brett Moffitt, so you can see him tracking third right now. So I think he will be a contender here for this win.
Alan?
I'm down here with Johnny Sauter, who has some great memories at this track and at least one tough one last year. What's your confidence level to today's race?
You know, Michigan's always an interesting race. Obviously, the trucks, a lot of drafting takes place. So yesterday when we unloaded with our 10 to heel Ford F-150, we were too loose, and by the end of practice, we were too tight with a freer setup than what we unloaded with. So that always makes you scratch your head a little bit. But I think this racetrack will turn into a handling race like it typically does. You get 20 laps into a run and it'll spread out a little bit, at least I'm hoping. And we had really good long run speed yesterday, I felt like. So guys at ThorSport are working hard. We just got to keep working.
Johnny Sauter, one of those drivers who needs some momentum heading into this playoff, guys.
You know, Vince, we looked at the highlights of Johnny being passed on the last lap by that 16 truck of Brett Moffitt. Say, why don't you come back with the same setup that you had last year that worked so well? Well, the tire change. This is a different tire, both lefts and rights, than that Goodyear had brought here to Michigan last year. So that's why sometimes that setup doesn't work, as you see Christian Eckes' setup looks to be working right now as he goes to the top of the board.
39.18 for Eckes, fastest so far.
Nice run there. This is a team that I'm going to have my eye on this afternoon. I think Eckes is such an accomplished young racer, getting some truck experience. I believe he can win this race.
Faster than last year's pole speed was Eckes at a 39.18. Last year, John Hunter Nemechek was the pole winner at a 39.12, or excuse me, so not quite as fast as John Hunter.
Track record is a 38.76, 185.7 miles an hour. That was set shortly after the racetrack was repaved, so the racetrack surface was brand new. Don't know that we're going to get down there, but it wouldn't surprise me that we don't dip down into the 38s, though.
This driver's won the last two that he started here in Michigan, and while we watch Brett Moffitt finish up, we check with Hermie.
Tyler Ingram also watching Brett Moffitt complete his lap. Now, you will race for a championship, but I know another trophy in the trophy case would go well with your momentum into the playoffs. So how's your truck and how do you feel after your qualifying lap?
I feel really good about that lap, considering that most of the guys are fastest practice yesterday. They slowed down and we picked up right there. So I think it was a pretty good lap for us. I'm really proud of my DJR Crosley guys, the truck they brought me. It actually is the same truck we had at Kentucky. So I think we'll have a really good piece for the race. And, you know, to get another win before the playoff would be awesome. But, you know, just got to drive the smartest race and get the most amount of points.
Vince?
Has a maturity about him for a driver that just turned 18 back in March, doesn't it?
You know, we've talked about him all year. He wasn't old enough to start the season. He didn't turn 18 till a few races in, and I don't know that we can discount him for possibly racing for this championship, because he's shown some speed on varying types of racetracks, and it would not shock me.
Yeah, and he gets more and more experience, obviously, every week, and he might need it more than anybody that he's going to be racing with in the playoffs.
You heard Todd Gilliland say in the interview earlier this morning that he really kind of struggled with this truck so far this weekend, but Gilliland positions himself in the third spot currently, 39.28. As long as you have it ready for the race, and that's what he said. We just want to make sure we're not sure what we're going to get in qualifying, but the key is getting it race ready, and Gilliland, one of those that must win to get in. Stuart Friesen took care of that last week. He won at Eldora, got that golden shovel.
It was a little bit up the track higher than I anticipated Stuart to be.
You can, it's reflecting on his lap time right now. You see already over a quarter of a second, now 0.3 of a second off, and tracking in the 11th spot here.
Just remember what we talked about earlier. It could be just a different setup that they're using for qualifying because they know what they're going to need in the race. Don't count Stuart Friesen out as one of the guys that might win again this week.
Boy, the close call last week, that near miss for Friesen early in the race, that could have ended things for him, but they made a pit call to stay out when Chase Briscoe, the race leader, pitted for gas, and it paid off.
Pretty much overruled his crew chief Trip. Bruce Tripp called him to pit road. Stewart said, I want the track position stayed out. They had enough fuel to get to the end, and he made it happen. A flawless last segment there for Stuart Friesen.
Well, it wasn't easy. He'd been through it all. Runner-up 6 times. He'd led nearly 500 laps before getting his win in his 63rd start in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
They might come in bunches now, Vince, now that he broke through with that win.
He's been on a great roll. You look over the past month and a half or so. Sheldon Creed, another who falls into that category of win to get in later today. We finished second to Friesen at Eldora.
Talked to Sheldon a few moments ago, and he said that he didn't feel like he would have a lot for qualifying because they made that compromise towards downforce. He's got two teammates, essentially, Friesen and Brett Moffitt. Brett Moffitt right now is 6th, Creed is 10th, and you see right there Friesen in 12th. So I think that's across the board for that team, GMS. They went with a little bit more downforce.
As we watch Bailey Curry, we'll check in with Alan.
And Austin Hill had great practice speed. He had good speed here in qualifying. You're about a 10th slower, but what'd you miss, and what's a qualifying lap like here at Michigan?
I mean, it's pretty intense. You know, you got to go wide open to have a good lap. And, man, my Hino Ice and Toyota Tundra is pretty good today. We just missed it a little bit in qualifying. It drove good, but I think I might have pinched it a little bit coming off of turn 4. I could have unwound the wheel a little sooner. We might have picked up a little bit. I don't know if we could have picked up a 10th and won a team like the 51 did, but all in all, great effort for our guys. I think it's going to start us pretty good in the race, and I like how our truck drove in traffic yesterday, so I'm really excited about getting going.
You can hear the confidence of the 16 driver, guys.
But I think this guy's probably got some confidence, too. The 45 team in general, much less the driver, Ross Chastain.
Yeah, deservedly so. We talk about it all year long, how what a changeover this team has made in the past year.
Well, even look at the speed for Curry. Bailey Curry, absolutely. That top 10 speed so far, and just a lot of confidence. Ross mentioned we chatted last night, and he believes this truck is going to qualify well, but really excited about the race. That could be, if he puts it on the pole here, that'd be trouble for the rest of the field, I think.
Yeah, tracking in the green.
Didn't look overly stable, though, but he kept his leg in it, and it's going to go first.
It'd be his first pole of the season if it would hold on, in a 39.18. Good enough. Technically a 39.17, 179.
Yeah, comfortable 0.08 of a second faster than Christian Eckes.
Here's Matt Crafton, 3-time pole winner at Michigan.
Matt's able to hold it wide open through 1 and 2. See if he can do the same thing in this end. Look at that tracker. Got some speed off, too.
Sounded like some side skirts were ticking the racetrack a little bit.
Venture to guess Matt will dive off the racetrack here, making this racetrack, like we said earlier, as short as he could possibly make it.
Oh, something happened. Something happened to that truck.
The engine
started missing for sure.
Oh, look at that. Matt Crafton, the frustration in the cockpit. What happened to the 88? We'll have that answer when we come back to qualifying. Gander Outdoors Truck Series qualifying at Michigan, and a development for the driver currently sitting in the 8th and final playoff position. Matt Crafton, a problem during his qualifying run. Let's listen.
Right about here, that thing started missing.
Yeah, and he was tracking inside the top 5 with a shot at the pole, and the engine.
You can see it by his mannerisms. He reached over and flipped a switch off. He's on his mic button with his right hand and gesturing with his left hand.
Probably best we don't hear this part. I'm sure it's frustrating for Crafton.
Here's the 33 of Josh Rayom, a 28-year-old from Redlands, California.
What about the job that team did at Eldora? Was that
amazing? Really was.
That was fun to watch. Josh worked so hard on these trucks, trying to improve his program. Reminds you a whole lot of Jordan Anderson. This team just getting a little bit better all the time, and to be able to provide equipment they could run up front like they did at Eldora with. I just want to give a shout out to Josh. Nice job.
Top 5 finish, right?
Well deserved. Hermie?
We got Stuart Friesen, so I know, at least I hope you slept a little bit better this week leading into this race after that big win. But you qualified 15th so far today, and it looks like some of your teammates in that same vicinity. So any concerns on the single truck speed?
Yeah, a little bit. We lost about a half second over our mock run yesterday, which was just a little bit of air pressure. So we'll look at everything we did here and see how we slowed it down. It was just kind of weird. It felt like the motor never picked up and cleared out. Probably the track being a little bit colder this morning, it might be gripped up a little bit more and bogged us down. But we'll be good. We were good in the draft at the end of the day yesterday. You know, made a lot of changes. The Helmar team worked really hard, and thanks to Chevy and everybody for all the support and you know, all the cheers for us this week was pretty cool. So we finally got one done, and we'll get back to work here this afternoon.
Alan?
Hermie Ross Chastain beat Christian Eckes by 1/100th of a second. Do you play the lap back in your mind? Anything else you could have done?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to go home and figure that out. But, you know, we got a really fast Series 6M Tundra, and I'm really excited to race it tonight. You know, obviously I want to get the pole there. I felt like we would have had a shot at the pole, and we definitely did. So, you know, move on to the race. Got 100 laps of action tonight, and look forward to it.
He's got a lot of speed. He spent a lot of time in practice learning the draft here yesterday, guys.
And we'll look forward to that. By the way, the race this afternoon begins with race day at 12:30. Green flag a little after 1 o'clock as you see Spencer Boyd finishing up his qualifying time, making his Monster Energy Cup debut this weekend.
Yeah, actually sat out last week, had a bit of a back issue and sat out, and thing healed well enough to not only run the truck race this week, but also the Cup race.
Grant Enfinger will be our regular season champion and get those 15 bonus points that go along with it.
I like that paint job.
I do too.
Thor Sport down the side, celebrating that championship.
See Curb Records on the tailgate, longtime supporter of Thor Sport. Bed top, I guess, is where it is.
Yeah.
Third last week at Eldora. And multiple top fives. Been right there with consistency all season long, but still seeking that first win of the season. And even though he's going to be the regular season champ, boy, you know he really wants to get to victory lane. This guy's done it. Won at Dover earlier this season, but hasn't had a top 5 since. What's going on with Johnny Sauter, guys?
That's hard to believe. Just bad luck and circumstances. They had some mechanical issues as well along the way. That truck is set up right, though. Look how nice it is down that straightaway. Nose right on the ground.
Yeah, these guys are going to have all sorts of time to get ready for the playoffs. It starts, what, 4 or 5 days from now? At Bristol Thursday night.
You leave Eldora, you come to Michigan, you're like, I'm going to hold that thing wide open for a couple hundred miles, I hope. Then you go to Bristol and you think, wow, this is crazy difference. That's what I love about our schedule. The races right now, they're just so different. And to take such a different skill set to be successful at each of them.
Well, how about when we leave Bristol? We're going to go up to Canada and run on a road course. That's about as different as you can get.
You mentioned the new paint scheme for Grant Enfinger, and Harrison Burton got a different look this week as well.
Ooh. I think there was a little bit of a pedaling there.
It looked like a little tight on exit. It came up off the bottom, but he's got some great speed. Maybe just let it roll up there, not to pinch it down. We heard earlier, I think it was Friesen say maybe he held his down too long.
Sometimes the pitch of the engine changes like it did right there, and it makes you think that maybe he's squeezing out of it, but it's just scrubbing off a little bit of speed in the corners.
Off about a 10th from the fast time of Ross Chastain. That puts Burton just behind his teammate Todd Gilliland.
Isn't that something, Vince? A 10th of a second and goes from 1st to 5th. That's how tight this competition is.
3 KBM trucks in the top 5 with Eckes, Gilliland, and Burton, but everybody's chasing Ross Chastain. Here's Gus Dean. We'll check in with Alan.
I'm down here with Bailey Curry. He's got good speed and a great opportunity in Nice Motorsports equipment this weekend. It can be tough to just come in and not race every week. What are you capable of today?
I think we're about to find out in a few hours. I mean, I've raced here a couple times before in the truck and an Xfinity car. I'm just really excited to get going. I'm excited to work with these guys in another race. Pocono didn't go our way, but I'm ready to get this one rolling and get us a good finish.
We've seen good speed from these trucks all season. We'll see what Bailey Curry can do.
I talked to Bailey up at Pocono because I wanted to go tell him I'm liking what I'm seeing. You're trending in the right direction. The speed you're showing week in and week out, that's That's fun to see guys that you typically see running around 20th, creeping up toward the top 10, and so far in this session, 10th in the qualifying order.
You had some sort of an issue on a restart, and he got turned around right there past the start-finish line. I really hated that for him because I would love to see what he was able to do in that race, and hopefully we'll get a chance this afternoon to watch.
Here's Natalie Decker in the 54. Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out, too, I mean, it's not just Ross Chastain that has done a nice job with that Nice Motorsports Group. I mean, when you look at what Curry has done in that 44 truck, that organization as a whole has really stepped up. It's not just that organization has stepped up for Ross. I mean, as a whole, that organization has taken a big jump.
Yeah, Al Nice has really put his heart and soul. Corey Efall is really doing a nice job managing that team. Phil Gould came on board this year, calling the shots for Ross, and they've done some amazing things. So that team is certainly a championship contender without a doubt.
Natalie Decker finishes up her qualifying run, 15th.
She's had a couple of issues, but when she's running at the finish, 5 of the last 6 races, she has top 20 finishes. So her speed she's gaining on it, getting better with speed, and be fun to watch her run all 200 miles this afternoon and see where she ends up.
Our final qualifier, Joe Nemechek in the 8 truck.
I noticed some sparks came out from under that truck. It really, on exit, you can see it right there as well on the inside of that truck.
Side skirts dragging the road. That's not really a huge deal. You probably prefer it didn't do that, but that just means traveling a little bit more than they expected, but still a good speed for Joe. You can see he's tracking inside the top 15 up to top 10 now.
Really nice attitude for that truck. You want that truck as low as you can get it. Seems he's within a couple tenths of the pole right here, so good effort here by Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, Nemco always brings good equipment to the truck. I mean, they always have some speed.
Yeah, if I got a young racer that I want to go racing with, I'd call Joe Nemechek, say, what kind of sponsorship do I need to race your truck?
The Melon Man, Ross Chastain, the pole winner at Michigan.
Welcome back to Michigan. Your pole sitter is Ross Chastain, pole number 3, and you guys just keep the roll going. Congratulations. And how does this translate into your confidence for today's race?
I told you a little bit ago that I had a lot of confidence. So we're rolling down the hill like a watermelon rolls down a hill. We're only gaining momentum. So I'm super proud of all these Nice boys and girls. Al Nice gives us all the tools we need. It's not always easy. Today and this morning, I was just the guy that got to hold the wheel. That scared me. But just got to hold the wheel. And yes, I think the throttle did get hung. But yeah, just raw speed in the race truck, and got it by that much, and that's all that matters.
These guys, same truck they won with at Pocono, they bring it to Michigan. He'll qualify. He'll start on the pole later today, Vince.
It is his 3rd career pole, but his first since 2013. And how about Christian Eckes in just 9 career starts in the Truck Series on the front row for the 3rd time?
That's about 33%. Really does a nice job. And remember, that's the same truck that's won 6 races this year. 5 with Kyle Busch, 1 with Greg Biffle.
I got nothing to add after Phil threw that math on us like he did right there. Let's take this thing home, Vince, and get ready to go racing.
Al Nice right there on the right.
Yeah, no wonder he's walking with a little swagger. Hey, we got NASCAR race day coming up at 12:30 on FS1, and then we're going to go racing the regular season finale at 1 o'clock Eastern.